Welcome. It's great to be back for another year of TAC Cup Future Stars for the TAC Cup in its 22nd year, and today a jam-packed program as we build up and look through all the new and emerging talent in AFL ranks via the TAC Cup. Today, we hear from Gary Ablett about his journey, Eric Wallace, the kangaroo story, who maybe can follow in the footsteps of Majak Daw, another great success story for the TAC Cup, and plenty more to come, including Alex Johnson from the Swans throughout the course of the afternoon. The team is back. Kevin Chief-Deshean, football's father figure, welcome.
Great to be here, Hutchie, and a terrific start to the year. We're 6 rounds into the competition, of course, and a development weekend, so no games, but plenty of stars to talk about. We're
going to look at very closely at the list management space again this year with our list manager, Terry Wallace. Hello, player.
Yeah, thanks, Hutchie. We're doing it a little bit different this time around. We've been out and about having a look at some of speaking to some of the clubs, their list managers, their recruiters. Today we've got Geelong, who do it better than most, Stephen Wells.
So Stephen Wells, in a rare interview, tells us about how he's built Geelong's list. Stick around for that. Speaking of the Cats, we'll be catching up on the program with former TAC Cuppers all through the course of the year, and Hamish McIntosh is one of those. He's with us. Welcome.
G'day, boys. Thanks for having me.
Are you frustrated to get back out there at the moment?
It is frustrating, mate, especially with how well the boys are going. It's exciting times down there to be 7-0, unbeaten, top of the ladder. Where'd you rather be? We're
going to talk more about the Cats in a moment and have a look at your own journey into AFL ranks. This is the TAC Cup competition as it currently sits, the ladder shifter. And it's been an interesting season. The Geelong Falcons have returned to their glory. The Power are right there again. They had a lot of bottom ages last year. And the Rangers Dragons, it's pretty competitive at the top, Kevin.
It is, and great to see 2 of the country sides on top. It's always that degree of difficulty, a bit harder for the boys from the bush that don't get together, and trainers often to come through. And Mick Turner had predicted he had a great group last year of youngsters, and they're unbeaten on the top of the ladder.
It has been a fantastic start to the season. We'll look at some of the vision throughout the course of the day. One of the great stories for the TAC Cup was undoubtedly yesterday. Majak Daw, who was here, shifter 4 years ago. Hamish, you played with him. We want your thoughts as well. But this is a great story, a 22-year-old who cut his teeth at the Western Jets and kicked 6 goals yesterday for the North Melbourne Footy Club.
Yes, Hutchie, it was 4 years ago. We went across to Werribee, to Churnside Park it was called then, to watch the Western Jets and see Majak in action. And we believed him. We got him in as a guest a few weeks later and thought that he may well be a Sudanese boy that could get through. And what a show he put on yesterday, Terry.
One of the things with the game nowadays, you've got to have a point of difference, and he's got some real top-end talent, Shifter.
Yeah, sometimes you call it a bit of a blink. You've just seen something special, and that day at Werribee I saw the mark of the day, the goal of the day. Just 2 little blinks, and I thought there's enough to go with here. Plenty of football education still needed from that point.
You're a bit modest, but you had a big role in getting him into the system, didn't you? You and the AFL worked really hard to find him the appropriate vehicle for his talents.
Well, you've got to break down barriers at times, don't you? There's probably a preconceived idea at times that guys can't do it. He doesn't know enough about the game, can't read the game. And Hamish, you've worked with him over there, even at North. You've seen him unfold. There were lots of little gaps there along the way, but you needed to have a long-term view.
Well, mate, it's amazing to see how far he's come from the first year at the club to now. I was actually at the game yesterday for Spud's 200th, and I saw him live, and just his ability to get off his man, you know, his pace, you know, that is his point of difference. And he can, you know, once he puts those arms up, he's unstoppable, and he's obviously got those guns as well, which once he gets the ball in his hand, he's not going to drop it too often. So it's a great story. It's great to see how much he's improved, but he still has a lot of improvement left in him.
Well, it was a big learning process, and he's had a couple of speed bumps along the way, but he's been able to actually work his way through those.
Yeah, he has. He had a few hiccups last year, as well documented and came out. But as Brad said, he's worked his butt side off. He's worked really hard at improving his game, improving his off-field skills as well. And you can see now it's paying off in his football career, and it's great to see. And look, hopefully now he can have a really good career ahead, and it's just a great story, especially with his background.
And I think he'll be the first of many. There's a boy over in WA called Aliyah, a Sudanese boy that will play centre-half back for WA at under-18 level, and look for the big D in the TAC Cup. His name is Dawam, playing for the Western Jets, and at over 200 centimetres, he's one that we're really going to keep an eye on.
So going back to his TAC days briefly, when he's not ready to be a player, the TAC Cup system supports them during that time, doesn't it? Probably gets some games into them before they're ready. It's a real development process.
There's no doubt. Like, over the course of the year, most of the clubs will play 60-odd players, some even as high as 70 or 80, and they need to put time into those that have got some potential to go on and play in the AFL, and that can be the hard part, the balance between playing those that are ready now to dominate TAC and those that might, in 3 or 4 years' time, have an impact at AFL level. So Shane Sexton and the boys at the Western Jets, in a very multicultural area, are doing a brilliant job.
Your move, Hamish, to Geelong, what warranted it, and how frustrated are you at the moment you haven't been able to get there and play?
Oh, mate, it's been very frustrating. It's been a frustrating 3 years. I haven't really been able to play a lot of footy, but I guess last year I sat down and had a look at the nuts and bolts of it all, where I sat in the side, and with Todd Goldstein in there as well going so well, and didn't really know where we both worked in the same side. And when I looked at it, and I thought it was probably time to move on, and when I heard about the great opportunity to get down to Geelong and that all come up, I couldn't wait to get down there. I was a massive Geelong supporter as a kid, and I wore the 5 on my back, the big Gary Ablett. So, look, to get down there to play with some of the great players, in Joel and Jimmy and those sorts of guys, and to see the success they're having this year already, I just can't wait to be a part of it, and hopefully, slide in there and play my role, and playing some success would be great.
Well, they're flying at the moment, undefeated, but the fact that you haven't been able to get on the ground has opened up opportunity for another player coming from a varying and different background in Mark Blitzavs. He's had a meteoric rise up the charts. I couldn't believe that a player who virtually hadn't played since under-14s could come straight into AFL football and perform the way he has.
It's an amazing story. He only played 5 or 6 games in the VFL last year, and then with all us, brittle old, taller guys that went down in the pre-season, it was down to Blitz to come in, and he's just improved out of sight. And look, obviously it's pretty an amazing story, but to say he works his butts off in the gym, he constantly wants to learn. He's always in the development coach's ears to see what he can do, see where he can improve, watch vision to see where he can improve as a player. And you can see already in the 7 or 8 games how much he is improving and how much better he's going to get. And with that elite engine he's got, it's only going to make him a great player in this, in football for many years to come. And especially when hopefully all us ruckmen are back, he could play maybe a different position. He could play wing, half forward, and push up the ground. So it's exciting times ahead for Mark.
Shifter, it's another point of difference, isn't it? A player that's come from a varying background.
Well, hard to match up on with his run, hey, decathlete, that just, how do they get to him when he covers the ground so quickly? I want to ask Hamish about Joel Selwyn, another graduate of the TAC Cup, and the leadership that you see firsthand that he brings to the table.
Oh, he's an outstanding captain, and just the way he leads on field is unbelievable. Some of the acts he does, and then off field around the club, he just demands success, and he demands respect with the way he goes about it and the way he trains. And look, he's an outstanding player. And look, some of the things I've seen him do on the field this year, I just can't believe, and I shake my head at sometimes. So he's tremendous to play under. He's a tremendous captain, and as I said, I can't wait to get out there and hopefully prove myself to him and meet his standards, and hopefully playing some wins.
H, last one here. I think you're probably the only bloke coached by the Scott twins, Brad and Chris. Any point of difference there between the two?
Oh, mate, I've been asked that quite a few times. They are actually quite different in a lot of ways, and I'll get on with them both very well, but the one common thing they do have is just how well they know the game. They're incredibly intelligent football thinkers, and I get to meetings sometimes and they say stuff at the game, and sometimes it goes over my head a little bit, and because they are both smart and both see the game. So, no, they're both great coaches, and I've enjoyed my time under both, but hopefully now, under Chris, we can play in some premierships.
Well, speaking of ruckman, the Kangaroos are having a crack at developing another one outside the system via Shifter Zone Combine in the States. Eric Wallace is their project, and he'll join us on the program next. Before we head to the break, there was time for the Still Sharpshooter Challenge. Still making it easy this week. Jack Revolt takes on another Jack Grange from the Sandringham Dragon. It's all for Still with a great range of blowers, chainsaws, hedge trimmers and more. Still making it easy.
Jack Grange, Sandringham Dragons, defender.
Well guys, we're back down here at Princess Park, home of the Sandringham Dragons, for another episode of the Steel Sharpshooters for Schools. We've been lucky enough to join by Jack Grange, back pocket of the Sandringham Dragons. We've got him here with us now, mate.
Hey, Jack,
how you going, mate?
Good, mate.
Welcome along to Steel Sharpshooters.
Thanks for having me.
Now, mate, back pocket.
Yeah.
What are you doing here? What are you doing kicking for goal?
I got the call up, mate. See how I go in front of the big stick.
Yeah, and how do you reckon you will go, mate?
Not really a goal kicker, but I reckon I got your covers.
Yeah, sweet, mate. Well, yeah, the trash talk's already started, so a couple of Jacks going to have a bit of a kick for goal. And, mate, if you win today, you can take home $1,500 worth of Steel school products for your primary school, mate. So let's get into it. You can lead us away, all right?
Sounds good.
Well, that's a point.
Easy.
They do not learn, these Sandringham kids. Oh, just shy. Not a bad effort though. I might have a dip on the left foot here. There we go, this one.
Come back.
Oh,
Not bad.
gee, both pretty close there. That check side looked really nice. Now we'll move on to the other side, suited for the right footer.
In this one.
Oh no. Oh, come back.
Nice, sprayed it. Closer.
Oh, it's home. Do you think your legs will get it that far?
I think so.
Oh, the door's ajar. I had a shot against the Hawks in the TAC Cup after the siren. This is sort of similar feeling.
2 points.
Kick the goal. Oh, yeah. Bad luck, mate. What happened there on that last one?
Look, I had to give him my all, man. My little legs.
Well,
Made
it's safe to say I don't think we'll be seeing Jack kick tops out of fullback for the Sandringham Dragons anytime soon, mate. But congratulations, 2-2. Unfortunately, you're not going to get the chocolates, mate, but best of luck for the season.
Welcome back to TAC Cup for the TAC. Don't forget, kids, speeding drivers, the biggest killers on our roads. This excessive and inappropriate speed is a factor in a third of all fatalities. Speed hurts. Slow down and take good care on the roads on this Mother's Day. Shifter, our next guest is a fascinating story. The US Combine was one of your initiatives last year as an alternative means to the more traditional programs such as the TAC Cup to get players into the system. And this man, Eric Wallace, is the first graduate, I guess, from it. And now North Melbourne have taken you on. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
How are you finding your move to North Melbourne and your time with our game? And is there a little fire in you to be an AFL player?
It's fun. I'm enjoying it. Every day's a challenge, figuring out something new, really getting one skill set really down packed. But I'm enjoying it. The guys are really taking me in. The coaches are really helping me out, and I'm enjoying my time in Melbourne.
Now, Eric, let's go back to that combine. Let's pick up the story when you first met the Sherrans. So tell us about that. So we're August of last year. Give us an insight into it.
August 27th, 2012, first time ever holding the Sherran. There was about 20, 30 guys, basketball background, a couple guys played football, and we did the beat test, jump test, got a feel of the footy, and it was really just an introduction. But you know, I was lucky enough to get picked out of the 30 to come out to the real combine and at Etihad, and that's where I met you guys, and really worked out with Mick Ablett and Ty Kennelly. You know, really getting the kick down and just getting some basic skills under my belt, and just tested well and lucky enough to find my way to North Melbourne.
And very quickly, you've been nicknamed the Beast, I've noticed. I looked at the website there in North Melbourne. You're already running coaching clinics, telling people how to kick the ball and hand pass it. Where'd the Beast come from?
I think Mick Ablett started that, but once Jack Zeeble got a hold of it, he gave it to me, and then Nathan Grimer, once he gets a nickname, it sticks for years. So he gave me the Beast, and it's been flying ever since. Now,
the basketball background, what do you believe are the transferable skill sets that you can take from your basketball and that work for Australian rules football?
Well, definitely as a ruckman, it's really body-to-body contact, being able to use your hands above your head, and really carving out space. And in basketball, you do a lot of that when rebounding, with balls coming off the rim. And just like Scott Pendlebury in the midst of traffic, he's really good at seeing left and right and knowing what to run. He's 360 degrees. So there's a lot of that in basketball, making quick decisions. So hopefully I can bring a little bit of that to the game, and definitely the athleticism and playing above the rim and above guys' heads. So hopefully I can bring a little of that to the game.
How much has your body shape changed in the last 6 months as you've been there? I remember seeing you when you first got here, and you're obviously a sizey boy, but how much have you dropped, and how much have your skin polish come down in the 6 months that you've been?
My weight has probably stayed the same, but my skinnies have probably dropped maybe 15 points or 10 to 15 points since I've been here. It's really just an ongoing process of running every day, eating the right stuff, getting the right sleep, and just making that transition and developing. I'm here for a considerable amount of time and really just learn the game and, sculpt the body to being able to be an AFL player.
Now, Eric, we'll have a look at some vision of you fine-tuning your skills. Tell us about some of those challenges too. It might be, say, in the kicking area, the hand passing. What have been the biggest challenges?
For me, definitely in game sense scenarios, it's really learning the flight path of the ball. But every day has been an ongoing, really to get the kick down. It's a different skill set for me than basketball. I'm used to shooting with my hands and, you know, jumping a lot, but really being able to kick is a very intricate part of the game. And over the past 4 months working with John Lamont, I've been able to really get a good skill set and be more consistent and really work out with the guys when they go out and do kicking drills and, you know, not holding back. And that was actually my first time really looking back from January to May to how far I've come in just 4 months. But feeling really good at where I am now, and hopefully can improve even more and one day wear white and blue with North Melbourne.
So Eric, you're playing more as a forward ruckman.
Yes.
How much have you learned off Drew Petrie? Obviously a very experienced player. And are you going to replace him one day?
He's probably he looks like he got another 4 or 5 years in him. So I asked him about 20, 30 questions a day. Him, Taz, even Magic Doll, just asking them a lot of questions and just figuring out how and why they do some of the stuff they do and really learning the game. And he's one of the greats to really look at and a joy to watch every game when we go to North Melbourne. And definitely a handful to work out with on the field. And he's just a professional all about everything he does.
Yeah, Eric, we love what you do, and you're a real trailblazer for the game. There was another one doing that yesterday, of course, in Magic Door, and your comment on him?
Phenomenal. I spoke with him earlier before the game. I was like, "You gonna kick 6 today?" He was like, "Nah, maybe 3, 2." Like, and wound up kicking 6 and 4. And, that was a good effort and really fun to watch, and I'm proud of him.
How difficult have you found the game to play?
It's a challenge, definitely endurance-wise. It's a bigger field. I'm used to a 94-foot court, indoor, but it's a challenge. Really learning where the ball, how the ball flies, and where to be at the right time. But you know, up in North Ballarat with Coach Fitzy, and it's really good at helping me figuring out the schemes of the game and where the ball's going, where to be as a ruckman and a forward, and just asking questions from my peers and just really, you know, taking in the game every day.
I'm sure a lot of North Melbourne supporters will be wondering when you're going to be back out there playing. So how is your body feeling?
Feeling good. Should be back out there this weekend with North Ballarat. Hopefully to line up against, I think the seniors play the Carlton Blues reserves team. But, you know, feeling really good. It was a good rehab session for me and really can go forward the right way.
We've got some great prizes for you for coming in, Hamish. You've got them for Eric.
Beast, got your Bulldogs men's skincare pack here for that beautiful skin of yours. You'll be looking your sharpest. You got your $100 Soho workshop voucher down in Chapel Street. Sammy's his name. He'll look after you, mate. One of the great fellas and one of the well-known people for suits in Melbourne. So get down there, mate. And then you got your Tosca travel goods, where Tosca travels are always first class. It'll come in handy for your end-of-season trip, mate, when you're heading back to America.
And the voucher for Kingston Links as well, and the Parkview Hotel voucher. So magnificent prize. Thanks for coming in, Eric. Well done.
Thank you for having me.
Eric Wallace, going to be a great story, no doubt about it, for the Kangaroos. Well, as we head to the break, it's time for the Telstra Stores Footy Hub. Each week we're going to look at the AFL players as they recount their own journey in the TAC Cup days. This week, Saints ruckman Ben McAvoy tells his story as he visits Pete at the Telstra Store Mornington shop right there in Main Street.
How are you? So hi Ben, and welcome to the Mornington Telstra store.
Thanks for having me here, Peter.
Not a problem. So I understand, Ben, that you played all of your TAC Cup footy with the Murray Bushrangers, but you've moved down to Mount Martha since you've been drafted by the Saints.
Yeah, we moved our training base to Seaford in just near Frankston. So I thought the cruisy lifestyle down here at Mount Martha would suit me, and yeah, I've been loving it down here for a couple of years.
Okay, fantastic. So tell us about your time in the TAC Cup.
Yeah, I was very fortunate to play 2 full seasons with the Murray Bushrangers, and absolutely loved my time there. We were reasonably successful, played in the grand final in my second year in 2007. We got smacked by the Calder Cannons, unfortunately, but yeah, it's a great program and competition, the TAC Cup, and the Murray Bushrangers was an awesome time.
Well, thanks, Ben, for coming in and sharing your TAC Cup story with us today.
No worries.
I'll make sure that I'm watching the Saints tomorrow on the Telstra T-Box from home. And Telstra customers get access to AFL TV, which is unmetered around-the-clock AFL content. All the big marks, all of your highlights, no doubt, from this weekend, and all the game replays, they can watch at home at their leisure.
weeks now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Filled it up 3 times in the first week I had it.
Andrew Mackie, the Geelong star, taking the Geelong Falcons, who are top of the table on the TAC Cup, on a tour of the CAT facility and having a chat about the importance of getting your licence and doing your hours on your L's as well. Get involved on Twitter in the conversation. This is TAC Cup Future Stars. There it is, at TAC Future Stars on Twitter, or at Craig Hutchie, at the List Manager to talk to Plough on Twitter, and Plough is very engaging in the young recruits coming out of the TAC Cup. So kids get involved with that. And of course, Facebook, there's plenty of the show's content going through there, facebook.com/TAC Cup FS. List management, really important part. All the kids out there watching aspire to be AFL players. It's all about how it fits inside a list framework. Terry Wallace focuses on that every week. And this year with the difference, Plough, you're catching up with the key people in list management, and you start this week with the most successful Geelong.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I think one of the most important people in AFL football at the moment is Stephen Wells, but we're looking at it from a couple of points of view about what the clubs have done right or wrong over a period of time and how they've structured up their list management, but also looking at the players in the TAC Cup, hearing from the people that are involved in selecting them, and just sort of giving you a bit of an idea of what might give you a greater chance of making it.
We'll have a look at some of the players to watch in the TAC Cup a little later on the hour. But now let's catch up with Stephen Wells. Very rarely talks publicly, but the Geelong recruiting manager tells our list manager, Terry Wallace, just what the Cats look for in the system.
That's right. Those players have done a great job, and many of them have played in a couple of premierships or 3 premierships. And, yeah, so we've been pleased with the way they've come through and developed, but it's an ongoing thing every year, no matter how good you've been or whatever stage you are in your club's tilt at a premiership, whether it be when you're on the bottom or at the top, you're just trying to improve every year, and those 2 years certainly had a big impact for us though.
I'm fascinated with how each of the clubs runs its list management in a completely different manner. We've seen the Swans, who have gone out and tried to get players from opposition clubs and fast-track them into their program. Others have followed that system. To me, it seemed like Geelong, for a long period of time, probably Brad Otten's with the one exception that they went and got a big, strong ruckman, but have developed their own, and that's been sort of a strategy that seems to have been pretty consistent throughout.
That's right, Terry. We do have a principle, I suppose, of doing the best we can through the draft in bringing in our own players and developing them, and hopefully having the basis of our team through that. If there's areas that we need to address, we'll certainly look at opportunities through other clubs. That's a philosophy, but it's also been forced upon us, I suppose, in the last 6 or 7 years a bit, in that we've had salary cap issues, trying to keep our own players, let alone get players from other clubs. And as you know, we've lost a couple of players like Gary Ablett and Shane Mumford and Brent Prismal, etc., that have moved on. And so we've had to try and find ways of replacing them without necessarily being in a position to go and spend a lot of money on players from other clubs.
Did that principle change at all last year? I mean, obviously Rivers, McIntosh coming into the club. Josh Caddy a little bit different because he's a much younger player. Was there any sort of shift to that, or was it just those opportunities presented themselves?
I think it was a combination of both, Terry. We had, certainly with free agency coming in, we had done a lot of research as a club as to how we could use free agency to our advantage and to be prepared in case we lost players through free agency as well. So we were well prepared and certainly open-minded to free agents as a list management strategy, but certainly circumstances changed a little bit where, as some of our older players, the guys that have had some success, moved on from the club, were more in a position to be able to afford players from other clubs as well.
How important was it for your club? We speak about your role in selecting the players, but the development of your players. So to have your own standalone VFL team, to be able to work your own players through that system, how important do you think that's been in the process of some of these young boys?
It's been vitally important, Terry. We've always said that we'll maintain our own VFL team whilst we can, and it's a budget decision, a board decision to fund the development of the players, and having our own VFL team has proven to be very, very important in that regard. It's all right to bring players to a club, and the players that go to any AFL club are have shown something at some stage or other to someone to have their name called out, but to get them into the club and then develop them is just so crucial. And as I said before, our coaches and medical team, high performance team, they just do a brilliant job in bringing along those young players.
Now, I want to take you back to 2006. Joel Selwood's there. Number one, did you think, what was it, pick 7? Did you think he would be there at pick number 7? And did you know he was going to become the player that he has become?
Well, I was very excited going to the draft on that morning, thinking that we might be a chance to get Joel Selwood. Had a fair indication in the week leading into the draft from the other clubs about who was likely to go. You just hear things, and it was going to the draft, there was a real chance that either Joel Selwood or Travis Boak was going to be there. We would have been happy to pick either one of them as it turned out on the day, but having found out the night before that it was likely Travis was going to go, I was very, very hopeful that Joel was going to be there, because you know, he'd shown brilliant credentials as a player and leader as a 17-year-old the year before his draft year. Didn't play much, only played 3 games I think in the draft year, but he'd shown enough the year before. And but to think he was going to be the leader and the player he is now and have the impact he had straight away, no, I haven't seen that too much before.
If you were speaking to some young players, and obviously we have a lot of the TAC Cup players watch the show, is there any little tip you could give them that might just marginally enhance their chances of being selected?
The thing we look for a lot, we try and analyse every aspect of their game, and as I said before, find out a lot about their character and personality from the people around them. But I think it's important for us that we see players improving in the areas that they need to improve over the course of a year. It gives us an indication that they've probably got a bit of a work ethic and they're willing to listen to their coaches and understand the game. They're smart enough to know that they can improve in certain areas, and if they work hard, they will. Guys that aren't improving so much, we'd perhaps question whether that's going to be a trait for the future.
Stephen, look, thanks for your time today on Future Stars, and from the footy world, congratulations on everything that's going on, and hope the success continues.
Thank you very much, Terry.
Stephen Wells, great interview there with Terry Wallace, of course, the recruiting manager at the Cats here on TAC Cup Future Stars. The question that gets asked the most, Shifter and Plough, how does he keep doing it? How do they keep finding these kids? Aren't they meant to bottom out at some stage, the Cats? Yeah,
he's brilliant at it. Look, he's meticulous, he's hard-working, thorough. He watched tapes on a Sunday when other people are probably just looking at another game of footy. He'll be going over and over the small points on an individual. And I think he's been tutored a little bit a few years back by Bill McMaster, the master recruiter from Geelong way back in the 70s.
They've got 14 players at the moment that in their side that are over pick 30. And some of them are stars. And you go back all the way back, Cameron Ling was picked 38, Enright picked 47, and now this generation, Christensen picked 40, Stokes was picked 61. So they've been able to do it. The thing I'd like to ask you, Hamish, is it's all very well getting them into the club, but clearly they're developed well down there, and the leadership that's around the club must be great as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I was going to say I had a couple of other guys there written down, Cameron Ling, Paul Chapman, you know, those guys. It's amazing what Stephen done, but with a really strong development program that we've got down at Geelong, I think with the talent that Wellesley gets in, but in saying that, there's 4 or 5 really development coaches there now to look after those guys coming through, and they put a lot of work into them, and I think with the strength of that program really helps with those kids develop, and it shows, you know, the way they're playing, the way they're coming through, like Alan Christensen and Taylor Hunt, Hall and Smith, they're having some great years, and they're going to be great players for this footy club for a long time. We'll catch up with the one that got away, Gary Ablett, next, and also speak with Alex Johnson about his journey. This is TAC Cup Future Stars for the TAC. Slow down the road, speed hurts.
Favourite TV show, don't watch a lot of TV, any sport. Some of my surfing trips I used to go on. LeBron James, massive fan. I'll probably have to say Michael Jordan like everyone else has probably said. And I better say my girlfriend, otherwise I'm going to get in trouble. Oh, I was going to say Campbell Brown, but I'd have to say he's probably the funniest teammate. Most annoying, Harley Bennell. You got 10 minutes? Hard as a cat's head. Hawaii. Byron Bay. drivers that go 20 kilometres under the speed limit. It has to be any song by Jimmy Needman. You've probably never heard of him, but look him up. Believe in yourself. I think that's the most important thing.
Gary Ablett of the Gold Coast Suns joining us on a road trip, and check out roadtripforever.com to take a virtual road trip about the importance of road safety. It's a great initiative by the TAC. And on this Mother's Day, remember, your mother wants a card from you, not about you. So please take good care on the roads. Just on the Gold Coast Suns before we move on, shifted there. Progress has been slower than I would have thought. And Plough, I'm interested in your take on this too, because you've had a good look at the list management space. What's slowing them up?
I'm a bit more bullish, Hutchie. I reckon Charlie Dixon, again, over 200 centimetres. What we're seeing from him in year 3 of his career, and big Zach Smith been a big up and down, but he's 208 centimetres, so I'm pretty happy with what I'm seeing 3 years into their development. What about you, Plough?
56% in their first year as a percentage, 60% in their second year. They're on 88 at the moment. That's a graph that's heading in the right direction. I still sit there. We just saw the great man Gary Ablett. Bennell, Swallow, O'Meara in the middle of the ground. Don't forget, they've still got Jack Martin from last year's rookie draft. They've got, Hutchie, they've got 3 first-round picks over the next 3 years. So they've got 6 picks. There's only 5 available. They've got 3 of the live ones. 6 picks they'll have in the first round over the next 3 years. They're going okay.
Time now for Close to Home for Sweeney Estate Agents, the can-do agents. It's great to welcome them, Wayne and Darren, to the team, to the TAC Cup Future Stars in 2013. You can visit Sweeney Estate Agents for all of your needs. And today on Mother's Day, injured swan Alex Johnson sits down with his mum Joan, and they chat with our own Tristan Fernanda here on TAC Cup Future Stars.
All right, Joan, tell us what Alex was like as a kid growing up. Did you always expect him to pursue his footballing dream?
Well, he was a great kid growing up, and he had lots of interests, played in lots of sports. Football was always his first love, I guess. So we thought maybe, well, that's what he wanted to do. Probably when he was about 11, I think he said, look, I really want to play AFL. And we thought, well, you know, that's a fantastic dream. But at that point, of course, you never imagine it's going to happen. So, and then, of course, inevitably it did. So it was an amazing story.
Alex, tell us about your time, firstly playing with the Hawthorn Sits. What can you remember of your days spending Sunday mornings with your parents at the local footy?
Yeah, I suppose, growing up, I just wanted to play footy with my mates and that type of thing, and the local club was Hawthorn Sits, and I didn't start to attack as I went down and played a few games with my brother's team, actually, which I don't think Mum was too happy about because I was pretty small when I was younger. But yeah, I played about 4 games there in a year, and then I wanted to join my own team the next year, and we sort of missed registration and that type of thing, and I showed up and hadn't signed up and all that type of thing, and I just sort of said, can I have a run? And we convinced them to give me a go, and then yeah, I went on and just played my juniors there from about under 10s to under 15s, and yeah, I had great times there, and I played with guys like Pat Cunez, who is now at Brisbane, and Alex Brown at Essendon. So yeah, we had a pretty good team down there, and it was a lot of fun, and I love Sundays down there.
In many ways, in media circles, it's the parents that are the unsung heroes. How much support did they give you as you, well, from the time you were a little tacker to the time you were playing TAC Cup footy and beyond?
Yeah, I mean, huge support, obviously, Mum and Dad from a really young age. You know, took me to the footy and that type of thing. I think I saw my first game of footy at Victoria Park, and you know, I think I spent more time looking at the Collingwood supporters with no teeth, but it was still an introduction to footy, and then from there on, yeah, went on to Hawthorn Sits and played footy there, and obviously, you know, Mum did a lot of the driving around, you know, whether we had games in the country early on, practice matches or anything like that, and all the way through to school footy, and hopefully she was always the taxi driver, which is always handy.
Tell us about draft night back in 2010. Would have been nerve-wracking, I'd imagine, as you see names called out and
it was very nerve-wracking,
waiting for the moment to come.
Absolutely.
Tell us about it.
Well, it was a bit of a double-edged sword, I suppose, because obviously Alex wanted to be drafted. That was his dream. And if he was drafted and it was going to be interstate, then we'd lose him at 18. So that was difficult as it turned out. It was one of those nights where it was just fantastically exciting, and then the reality hit of 2 days' time he'll be packing his bag and gone. So it was that was challenging in itself. But look, it's turned out to be fantastic, and we've got to know Sydney extremely well. We've got a spare bed at the flat. So it's worked out pretty well. But it was a very exciting night. It was incredible.
And seeing Alex achieve the pinnacle in footy must have been an amazing experience for the whole family last year. Tell us what you can recall of grand final day.
Well, we had a nephew of ours flew in from Hong Kong with his girlfriend, and we had another nephew coming down from Brisbane. We were all there, obviously. We were there for the game. The last 10 minutes was just excruciating, so I actually couldn't watch it. I had my face in my hands until the siren went, and when the siren went, it looked like they'd lost because I just burst into floods of tears because I couldn't speak. And then just watching them down on the ground, and I've seen a few grabs recently of the end. At the end of the game. It's just so emotional. It was such an emotional day. It was so exciting. It was fantastic. And then, of course, we went on to the dinner, which was a buzz, and everyone was up having, you know, the team winning. So it was an incredible day. I can't ever imagine having it again.
Thank you both for joining us today, and enjoy Mother's Day.
Yeah, no worries. Just a quick one. I've got something for you for Mother's Day, Mum. There you go. Happy Mother's Day.
Thanks, darling. Thank you.
No worries.
Alex Johnson back in Melbourne and out injured, of course, but celebrating Mother's Day with a close to home for Sweeney estate agents there with his delightful mum, Joan. A break. We're going to have a good look at all the kids who are causing all of the interest at the moment in the TAC Cup. Right next, right here on TAC Cup Future Stars. Welcome back to TAC Cup Future Stars for the TAC. Time to have a look at some of the best kids in the TAC Cup. I know, Hamish, with your work in Vic Metro, you're across a lot of these kids as well, and Shifter. We're seeing some great young talent emerge at the moment. Let's take a look at a few of them. Yeah, we call them the eye-catchers, I suppose, or the players to watch, but Jack Billings is our first one, and I'd use the word class to describe him. I know, H, that you've had a little bit to do with him too. Yeah, what an outstanding talent. I worked with him at the 16th Metro, and he... just an elite kick for his age. He can kick the ball 60, 70 metres, but that's not everything. He knows how to hit a target and use the right options. And I think he's also got the ability to play multi-positions. I think he can play down forward. He has a lot in juniors, but you can slip him to half-back and be that elite ball user, which is so important now in AFL footy. So, again, for his size, a great mark, an elite kick, and he's going to be an elite junior and elite player for many years to come, I'm sure. And our second nomination is Matt Crouch, who was a nomination of the Player of the Year last year. He's a left-footer from the North Ballarat Rebels. His brother Brad is now making a name for himself across at the Adelaide Crows. This bloke's a prolific ball winner, a ball magnet, in fact, 40-odd possessions in a recent game. He's just got a little fracture of the hand, so he might miss the next 2 or 3 weeks. So just look out for him late in the National Championships. He's so good at the stoppages and as an inside player. His distribution is first class. And looks a beautiful player, Shifter, and the pedigree, as you mentioned, is magnificent. Yeah, we love poise, don't we? And the next one that we're going to look at is a guy with great poise. It's Josh Kelly. He's from the Sandringham Dragons and Plough. You've seen a little bit of him. Yeah, I really like him as a player. I thought he was a chance, Shifter, to go in the mini draft. There was only 2 17-year-olds last year able to go. Thought he was a chance of going then. He will be right up high in the draft this time around. Real ball carrier, class player, got a big engine. So from an AFL football perspective, he can come straight into AFL football and be able to impact straight away with his run and carry. Yeah, I agree with you on those points. Now, the harder ones to pick sometimes can be the defenders. Not as flash, don't win the ball as much, but one that we've picked out as Darcy Gardner. Now, the vision we'll see of him here is as a forward. He can push forward. He kicked 3 for the Falcons recently, but I love his work as a tight defender. He played on Jesse Hogan in the National Championships last year. He's the young boy that's across at Melbourne, taking the mini draft. He shut him down in the second half of the game over at Patterson Stadium. He concentrates really hard as a defender, can spoil without interfering and pushing in the back. Played a great game for the Australian under-18s v Collingwood on the MCG. He won the medal for the best player for Australia. That's a pretty good thing to have on your CV. So Darcy Gardner from the Geelong Falcons, one to watch right throughout the year. We will, of course, be recognising one player of the week each week in the McDonald's TAC Cup Young Player of the Year. And the winner at the end of the year, as always, will win $5,000 thanks to the team at McDonald's and the Mac Pack. And this week's nominee? Yes, this week's nominee is Tom Boyd, a big fella from the Eastern Ranges, Vic Metro, and let us say Australia as well. This is an imposing tall forward, and Hamish, again, you've given some advice to this 199-centimetre big guy. Yeah, as I said, I worked with him a bit under 16s. He looked like he just needed to trim down a bit, and asking him before shift, you said he's slimmed down and he got into great shape. And look, he's going to be obviously high on recruiters' radars. He's a big key position player, can take a great grab, a really good runner for his size, and he's been dominating at the level, and I'd imagine he'd be high up in the top 5 of the draft. Top 5 to 10, you reckon, is the draft? Yeah, I'd imagine so. Key position player, can play ruck forward. I'd imagine they're pretty important. Well, it'd be hard to beat then already. The week 1 nominee in the McDonald's TAC Cup Young Player of the Year. And the winner at the end of the year will win $5,000 Thanks to the MacPack. Get on to macpack.com.au, kids, and engage with the heroes. Tom Hawkins, Jack Revold, who will be involved with the show, Mark Murphy, Pendles, and there's a great competition running through there at the moment with Andrew Bogut too. Jump online, enter the competitions, get some advice on fitness and health. It's one of the great initiatives, macpack.com.au, dealing with all of your stars. Before we head to the break, it is Mother's Day, and carrying on the spirit, Sam Donnell this week caught up with his mum Anne, and they shared their journey, of course, Frank Donnell being Sam's dad, as part of the Close to Home for Swanee Real Estate.
Happy Mother's Day, Mum.
Whoa.
These are for you.
Sammy, that's lovely. Thank you.
It's all right. So what's it been like dealing with me throughout my whole sporting career?
Well, you've been fairly easy, I'd have to say. It hasn't been too difficult at all. Lots of driving around, lots of encouragement, lots of pep talks, but on the whole, pretty good.
Yeah.
It's been fun.
So, as a mother, what's it been like supporting me for the last 2 years, and yeah, what's it been like supporting an AFL player?
Yeah, it's just a great journey, and as I keep saying to you, it's a journey that you just enjoy the whole process, and you don't worry about the games, you just... Sorry, that's turning into a lecture again, isn't it? So, Sam, there's always a lot of emphasis on the role of dads when it comes to the formation of an athlete, and in particular in your situation with Dad having played. What do you think is important about the role that mothers play?
I think I do come to you with this, is more for the psychological side of things, and mentally how to prepare and how to get through and all those types of things. The mental side of the game is definitely something that more get a release when I talk to you.
What would you say is the thing to do for your mother, to all the young fellas out there?
The one bit of advice I'd have for everyone on Mother's Day is to let your mum put her feet up and do as little as possible, and just pamper her, make her breakfast in bed, and just let her relax and enjoy the day.
The TAC Cup Future Stars for the TAC. Remember, kids, P-platers are about 3 times more likely to have damage on the roads. Take it easy, speed hurts, slow down, and enjoy your Mother's Day if you're out for lunch with your mum at the moment. And the AFL Adelaide 6-6-42 lead GWS 2-6-18 to the margin there is 4 goals. And you get involved with the show too. TAC Cup Future Stars this week will be filming its Telstra Store Footy Hub at the Telstra Bentley, 466 Centre Road, Bentley. 466 Centre Road, Bentley. Go and see Luke Ball this week, the Magpie star. Luke Ball will be there at 3:30 on Thursday afternoon. And of course, this week is Pink Sports Day for Breast Cancer Network, Hamish. So, fantastic initiative with the Breast Cancer Network. Get involved and support it. And what a wonderful cause. Money raised goes directly to Breast Cancer Network Australia. We'll be back next Sunday afternoon. Enjoy your day, Shifter.
Look forward to it.
Have a great day, you and Kerry as well, player.
Happy Mother's Day.
And Hamish, thanks for coming past.
Thanks for having me.
Really appreciate it, Hamish McIntosh. This has been TAC Cup Future Stars. Enjoy your day.